What's up, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News, coming at you twice tonight because apparently they didn't like what we were saying. Either way, this is Marfoogle News. Let me just say that one more time. Marfoogle News, the only live call-in show on YouTube. Well, not really. Dex.
Yes, Adam, I am here. And did you do that echo to make the name sound so much more epic?
You almost made me choke. This is a live show and anything can happen. We'll be right back with your news. Good job, Dex. Good job, Dex. We'll be right back with your live call-in and all of your today's news. All right. I don't know what the heck happened there, but if you are watching this live or if you're watching the replay, you probably didn't notice anything happened at all. But we got about 30 seconds in and it ended the stream. So whatever is going on, I know that some of my friends over on this platform are now deceased as far as this platform goes. So if you've never been here before, this is a live call-in show. My name is Adam, aka Marf, and this is a live call-in show. Later, we will actually be going over some of the news and taking your calls. And again, we have a large screen over here that is actually directly connected to Dex. Dex helps produce the show and do a lot of the tech side of things, and he is actually able to load things onto our website as we go. So if you actually go to our website, go to this thumbnail on the home screen, you will see that down below there is every article that we feature. So you can take a second device or even a multitasking device, say, one of the notes or something like that, dual screen it, however you want to do it, you can end up doing it this way. And you can see all of the articles that we're going to cover and actually follow along. Or if we just cover the headline or part of it, then you can actually go and finish it later. Whether that be a month from now or a year from now. That's the cool thing about this. It's daily news, but it doesn't go away. The fact is, we cover so many topics in 1 2 hour to 3 hour period. It's absolutely insane. In that 3 hour period or 2.5 hour period, however long it lasts, people say that they learn so much, and it's not from me. It's mostly from the Foogle Fam, the call-ins, the subjects that got brought in. We have first-time callers every single show, and they're always bringing up something new. If we come together and bring all of our information together, that's how we get further. We don't try to put a slant on things. We try to let you guys be the judge. Like I was saying before to an audience of 0, that we, like the video we just put out on Marfoogle News, our larger channel, that was a gentleman that essentially breeds puppies and sold a puppy to a gentleman who just retired from naval intelligence. And he showed him the new Navy map. And the guy says, yeah, I was actually at that meeting and this is going to happen in our lifetime. And if you don't know what the new Navy map is, then definitely Google that. It shows the coastlines being dramatically redrawn, essentially. So again, Dex has the ability to actually load articles, load documents. We've had some things happen on this show, on this live show, that have made, national and even international headlines quite a few months ago. And that is why I think people like it. You just never know what's going to happen. Dex, again, can load all those things from the callers, and then I can actually share it with the rest of you. Dex, can we do a sound check real quick again?
Hello, Adam. I am still here. And hello, Foogle Fam.
All right, cool. So whatever happened, let's, let the past be the past. Dex, with today's news, we have a lot of things. We've got DARPA. We've got essentially people looking into the future of what is going to happen. And it's not really that great of a future if you look at it. I guess, people always accuse us of looking at things like, half glass, half empty. We don't look at it like that. I feel like we are looking at reality compared to the ponies and rainbows that everybody else wants to be reality. We are extremely lucky, or at least the ones who are watching that are in the United States, that essentially, we think sometimes, even in the ghettoest neighborhood, we are better off than we are in some other countries. Now, Dex, what do you think about this whole cycle right now?
Well, yeah, I totally agree, Adam. I mean, we keep getting, hints from the powers to be about, like, do we need to be prepared for, natural disasters? Do we need to be prepared for chemical type disasters? It's just, we're getting hit left and right. And then we've got, what seems to be happening across the globe. So for anybody that's just halfway awake, you should be able to see that you do need to be prepared. You don't need to be scared, but you do need to be prepared for the things that may happen around here and paying attention and focused on right now.
Now, we've covered over the last year and a half, since I started this channel, a lot of the different things that are coming out. Tonight, we're going to be talking about DARPA and the new smart suits that they want to protect against biological attacks. I've shown you all the different drills that they've been doing all over the country. Companies like HDS, I believe it's Human Domain Services or Solutions. They are actually owned and run by military or ex-military members, and then on their board is a bunch of military guys, and then they are actually hired by the military and the government to do drills to get their guys ready, right? I mean, when you look at it like that, you're like, oh, that's good. They have a contingency plan for everything. And the scary part is a lot of those contingency plans, they have top secret information that we don't. And when we look at it as our perspective, you see one little drill here and one little drill there, you don't really think anything. But then when you do a show like mine and you get emails from almost every state saying they're doing it here, they're doing it here, they're doing it here, they're doing it here. And then we have over 300 active and retired military folks in our Discord that all collect. It's a separate Discord room by itself. You actually have to be confirmed ex-military or current. Those guys are sending us some of the greatest information ever, and a lot of it, it's stuff that we shouldn't really know. And, that's a thing. It's like, where do we decide, will this help anybody? Will this, prepare anybody? A lot of it's just like common sense things that are happening right now. But the drills on that end are going up and up and up. Now, we saw the bank drill that just happened a little bit ago. They're doing more and more of those. What are they preparing for? Well, the contingency plan is for a vehicle loaded up with some sort of chemicals, and it's drove in and it goes boom, and then the chemicals go everywhere. That is the kind of thing that they are looking for. We also showed you within about a week of that, or wasn't it like 2 days, that the gentleman was arrested. It was an ex-military guy, and he was, that was exactly his plan. But yet the thing that came out that day said, or 2 days later, said that they had been preparing for that kind of thing for months on end. So this guy, they just discovered him, right? And that was the same week that the leader of ISIS basically said that they were going to do a bunch of stuff. He told all of his followers to, essentially light fires to the forest, California, all this kind of stuff. I mean, this is crazy. And we don't see it. We don't see what's beneath, the walls of the 5 companies that tell us all of our information. But again, the dark corners of the internet have the truth. And again, we're not trying to start rumors here. We're not trying to put out things that we can't confirm. Again, but one thing we can confirm is that these drills are going on all over the country. So we're going to talk about that. That's really my main focus tonight. 2050, where the Pentagon is going with all of their stuff. Will we make it to 2050? And that sounds very bleak. Again, they would probably rate this as a bleak, dark, whatever. But honestly, where are we going? A lot of people talk about the Deagle population essentially what they say is going to happen to our population drop by 2/3. Why? How? What is going to hit us first? They talk to us about an asteroid hitting Earth, about a plague or pestilence or, famine hitting, all these different things. And some of them are straight out of the Bible. So now we're going to get into the first story. We're going to take your calls. Again, the 224400 If you think you have good info that you want everybody to know, or even if you have a story from a couple years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 30 years ago, that you think is extremely important for people to know, and you want to say it, then give us a call, 224400 MARF. And again, MARF is 6273. All right. Navy veteran who served on USS Nimitz recalls seeing 2-mile wide UFO over the base. Now, we have seen so many stories like this lately. A lot of military are coming forward. One, I think this is because branches like the Navy are now changing their rules. Whereas it used to be, if you saw a UFO, you kept that shit to yourself because you didn't want to be put into a loony bin, and you also didn't want to be looked at like you're crazy and end up losing your, position. You could be dishonorably discharged or honorably discharged if they thought you were going cuckoo. It was a whole different thing. Now, and I believe this is partly because of the technology that the other two superpowers have, they are asking all Navy employees, that includes, administration on land, that if they see something, that they need to report it. And they have already gotten thousands and thousands of reports. The one military gentleman that I talked to that actually oversees kind of these go by his desk says that there's so many thousands of these things, and that's not one thing that goes out. And people would expect that, right? I mean, if you think about how many sightings there are per day, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of Navy members that are, sailing the seas. They're out in the dark. They can see the sky perfectly in most cases. So I totally see that being the case. What are they seeing out on the sea? See, when they're out there and there's no lights around, they can see the stars, everything perfect, depending on the weather, of course. They are probably seeing some really crazy stuff up there. We started the Space Force because of what is going on. If you have seen something or if you have video of it, please call in at 224400 MARF and get us that video right now. We'll show it on the show tonight. Again, it's 8:24 p.m. December 4th, 2019, and we're going to get this going. Now, it says USS Nimitz soldier recalls seeing giant UFO floating over base on an episode of Mike and Maurice's Mindscape. Lee Adams, a soldier who was stationed on the USS Nimitz from 2012 to 2015, talked about things he saw and heard while he was stationed there, including the time he saw a giant UFO floating over the base. So, again, if you have a story like this is more and more common. People are getting looked at like they're not crazy anymore. So it's something that is actually far accepted. And that is something that a lot of people think is weird as well, that this is becoming normal. That, there's a lot of things, by the way, today are normal that 10 years were either illegal or not even, acceptable. And now, not only are they normal, but they are almost forced. If you don't go with the flow, you could actually get a fine. So you guys know what I mean. As far as this goes, this is something that is now in mainstream all the time. I just showed you last night that we had Fox News talking about it's only a matter of time before an apocalyptic asteroid hits us. I mean, this is mainstream medias are now doing this, and it's like every day. I've pointed out that over the last 3 or 4 years, we've had just constant bombardment, no pun intended, of asteroid news. And it's absolutely nuts. Now it says, U.S. moles deploying additional 14,000 troops, more ships, military hardware to the Middle East. Now, I have called this over and over and over again that they have kept putting a solid number out almost every week. Dex, how many stories like this have we covered? I mean, they just keep sending and sending and sending. What are they preparing for?
Yeah, over and over again.
I mean, we're talking, another 14,000, that's not a small number. I mean, people, were up in arms about Iraq and, or was it Afghanistan, when there was 8,000 troops there. We sent that in just one of the weeks over the last 3 or 4 months. So, I mean, they've got a lot of guys over there, and it keeps steadily growing. And like I've said before, they could say it's 14,000, but how they compartmentalize their information, how they do their stuff, they don't have to show half of their stuff. They can do things under the radar, so to speak, and they can actually ship way more people over there. 14,000 is a good enough number where they can explain a lot of things. But say you're the family of the military man who gets shipped off somewhere. They tell you, oh, well, I'm going here. But they don't know what's happening to the rest of the guys. They're all one family. They're not connected with all those other families. So they don't know how many people are actually getting shipped off. Some think that there's actually a whole lot more over there than we actually know, that they're setting up something. The UN, there's all these things going on over there. And it says, the T-Man administration is currently considering a significant expansion of the U.S. military presence in the Middle East, including dozens more vessels and other military hardware, as many as 14,000 additional soldiers to counter Ryan, U.S. officials said. Now, this almost sounds like they are preparing for the next conflict or mini conflict or, huge tax embezzlement. So, Dex, what do you think about this?
Well, I mean, I'm not in favor of sending a lot more soldiers in harm's way. So, but they obviously think there's a reason and a need to do this. So, it's kind of troublesome and worrisome to see it happening.
Well, we're going to be following it close. If you have any information on this, please give us a call at 224-400-6273. Okay. You're not ready for it. Military expert questions Pentagon's 2050 ambitions on cyborg warriors. Yes, you heard it right. Cyborg warriors. Now, the thumbnail that you saw here is the gentleman controlling something. He's actually controlling a robot in that picture. And again, that orange suit is actually the smart suits we were talking about. And we'll get into that later. That's really shocking and really freaky. But the head goggles are actually controlling things. It's actually very low-end stuff, and it's very advanced. But we're talking about 2050. We are going to have full-on cyborgs. We actually have a real Skynet chip that is actually going into play. When people say Skynet, people think of the movie Terminator. They think of fiction. They think of Arnold Schwarzenegger. And they also think that, this is some sort of future tale. Right now, they are actually hooking up 5G. They are hooking up this Internet of Things, right? All of the smart devices, and we've known and we've proven time after time again that these devices are not only collecting data, even your fridge. Now there's smart fridges that know exactly what's in your fridge. They alert you when your milk is low. They alert you when you're out of orange juice. They alert you that your eggs are 14 days old. But the scary part is they know exactly what products you buy, and they can actually direct advertisements to you that way. Now that's the innocent part, right? Oh, we just do it for advertising. The governments and all of the agencies actually have access to all of this, and they are increasing it. Now, if they want to do anything with the Agenda 2030, 20 years before this 2050 number, then they have to get us all into one, into the mass cities. They have to get us all into these big places, right? This is a theory. Again, we talk about these things, we discuss it, we think about these things, and we just ask questions. So I love when people here in this audience are all independently thinking and just coming up with new ideas and brainstorming. What are they actually doing? Now, as far as cyborgs, we do not want cyborg warriors like this being connected to AI. That would be the scariest thing ever. But we are going to see these. We are also going to see human and mechanical blends of people. So there could be hybrid cyborg people. This all sounds so science fiction. It's so crazy, but they actually have people controlling robot arms with their brain now. In fact, some of them don't even require surgery. They have pads or certain things that actually they can catch the waves coming out of our head. Which also proves kind of something I said a year and a half ago, that there are electrical waves coming out of our brain. Like everything in our brain is electric. All of them are electric impulses. Our heart, you need electricity to restart it. We're essentially water, bone and electricity. So it's just very strange. All the things that they are doing right now is essentially the first beginnings of man and machine blending. The Internet of Things, there's an actual Skynet chip. If you look, it's really hard to find. You would have to go to DuckDuckGo. When you go in and look for it, you have to look up the Skynet chip, Internet of Things, that kind of thing when you search it, and then you'll find it. It's very well hidden. Dex, did you know about the Skynet system thing?
Yes, Adam, I've heard about it, and I've researched a little bit about it. But yeah, it sounds like it's right out of the movies, but in theory, it's all going to be connected through AI, and obviously things like 5G are going to help us with that and help it with that bandwidth so that it can actually communicate.
Now, I'm going to catch you off guard. Now, can you explain, and I bet you would be able to explain this, how they could track somebody in their home using smart devices? Is that something that you kind of have a grip on?
Well, certainly. There's many different ways. I mean, you've got devices today that are cameras on them. The parent company of this platform has devices that have cameras on them, and they're for convenience. So that's one simple way. We've also seen technology from companies that can see through walls using special imaging systems. So being able to actually look through. And then using, the wave technology, the millimeter waves, in theory, you could potentially be able to pick up and understand where people are behind anywhere in their home. So it depends on the technologies they roll out. But yes, I'm sure they're all exploring it. And if we're looking at it today on the commercial side, it's been out for a while on the military industrial side.
Yeah, and they're also going to combine this with FLIR. Drones watching overhead. That's another thing we just taught you a couple days ago, that they are actually at all of the airports going to start doing facial recognition scans on American citizens as well as foreign citizens. You're going to have Ring doorbells. Every single business, all different stores are going to have facial recognition, and you actually have to look up at the camera to enter. And they're going to make it more seamless to where you're just walking in, it facially recognizes you, and the doors are going to be sliding doors just like any Target or Fred Meyer or any place that you actually go. It's not going to change, right? It's just going to be like walking into Target. You walk into Target, the door's open. But what you don't realize is that that's going to be facial recognition. The only time you would notice is when it reads your face and it doesn't want you in the store and it doesn't open. See, the ones now, it's like you have to stand there and it unlocks for a second and then locks, and you got to do this thing. If you saw the video that I did on my main channel, of course, you should check that one out. That one actually has my wife trying to get into a gas station, which has a necessity there, fuel, and she could not get in because it kept picking up the wrong face. So they're not that great right now, but that's where it's all going. Again, that's what happened to my wife is unacceptable over on the main channel news. But, with that being said, there's just all these different ways they're going to start tracking us. It's absolutely nuts. So we're gonna talk about that in a second. Peter Emanuel, an Army researcher and lead expert of a Department of Defense study on cyborg soldiers, suggested that ordinary soldiers and civilians are not prepared for cyborg super warriors, despite sufficient progress in technology and medicine. Quote, in the next 30 years, you're going to have to deal with these legal and ethical quandaries, and you are not ready for it. When you talk about somebody who lost their sight because of a bomb blast or somebody who lost their limb to an IED, it makes sense that people would have fewer ethical qualms about giving them something that would replace that functionality. It says the military research suggested that except for huge technical challenges in the issue in, quote, redesigning human beings, is that there's more important facet, numeral, ethical, and legal concerns. Now, it says, this is great, and this is crazy because we're going to see this. It says, when you get to essentially giving them super speed like the $6 Million Man, that's what we call enhancement. A lot of people start to have questions when we talk about enhancement. You're going to have mixed populations of soldiers that are not enhanced and soldiers that are enhanced. What does that mean? Is it going to have an impact on morale and camaraderie? Are enhanced soldiers going to be coveted assets, Emmanuel said, introducing the possibility, a possible example of a command decision that an enhanced fighter is too valuable to promote or stop deploying, while regular soldiers are cheaply replaceable. Wow. And this is going to be something, if you are not if you're not 104 years old, you'll find out why exactly that old in a second here. As long as you're not 104 years old, you're going to see this in your lifetime. You're going to see robots. You're going to see a man, half robot, running 60 miles down the road. Now, some of the old timers might go, wow, yeah, they say that, but that's not actually going to happen. It is, and it's actually happening right now. They've already done things. They've already given hands, arms, legs, and some of the legs are actually capable of running super, crazy speeds. The DARPA is doing stuff that they haven't even released yet. They're making all these kinds of things. Imagine a man, what was the movie, what was it? Contact, where the aliens' legs were backwards and they walked really funny, just super creepy. Imagine a man's legs like that. That's actually how they design a better leg, is backwards with the foot like that. Imagine something like the crazy robot off of RoboCop, like, and it's got like, it's almost like a Minotaur, only it's half, human and half this weird horse-legged thing. I mean, this is what we are going to see in our lifetimes in just a few years. We're talking a couple years. That's what's so crazy about it. They already have the technology. It's about clearing it. It's about doing the legal concerns. It's all that. We're going to see this. What do you guys think about cyborgs? Do you think, this might bring in a whole nother bag of worms, but as far as, do you think humans are playing God with this? Is this even something we should be doing? A lot of people think that it's not. They could be extending life. They could be doing all sorts of things. So, this is one of the main things we wanted to point out to you tonight. This is from nextgov.com. It says, DARPA wants smart suits to protect against biological attacks. We keep showing you this time and time again. They are doing so many things to prepare for something big. Now it says a new program aims to usher in a modern military ensemble that can provide 100% survival against lethal exposure. That's both at the same time. Exposure from multiple chemical and biological agents. It says the Pentagon's research arm, which is also a robot arm. No, I'm just kidding. The Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, wants to accelerate the development of innovative textiles and smart materials to better and more comfortably protect humans from chemical and biological threats. It says, according to the recently published broad agency announcement, it says that DARPA's, or PPP, program to rapidly produce wearable technology that prevents threatening agents from entering the body and cutting-edge barriers that can neutralize damaging agents while they come in contact with people's skin, eyes, and airways. Quote, the current chemical and biological threat environment consists of broadly acting, highly pathogenic, and sometimes immediately lethal threats that are capable of entering the body via multiple pathways, including skin, airway, ocular, and gastrointestinal tract. Officials wrote in an announcement. quote, despite substantial financial investments in advances in the CB defense enterprise over many decades, current personal protective equipment solutions add logistical, mobility, and thermal challenges to the warfighter stability operations care provider, which place their missions at risk. So just to sum that up, just to kind of put that in simple terms, right now, the suits aren't that great. The suits then, which they are coming up with quick, and for whatever reason, they're pushing all through these things. When we look at all of the different things, the money that they're putting into this, it's like they need them now. Why do they need them now? Dex, now this is a big deal, Dex. I don't know if this is something that people aren't even going to notice. So I'm glad that we actually found this.
Yeah, it certainly is, and it's clear to me that they're asking for better, and what we have today isn't working. So, and they need it right away. You keep saying they want it now, so this is a clear signal to us. If they need this, what do they need it for, right? And what are we worried about, or what should we be prepared for? Because if they're preparing for it, we need to be prepared for it.
Now, it says here, the personalized protective biosystem will provide on-demand, broad-spectrum protection that can evolve at the pace of emerging threats. Now, what's scary is they're putting a lot of money into this very quickly, and they're talking about a suit that would evolve with the threat. So what kind of threat is coming that is going to evolve so quick that a suit needs to do this? I have no idea. And and you're talking about when you mentioned that Russia is coming up with these things that they say they have some sort of biological thing that no one else has, and that it would basically be the end-all be-all. That is something that I think about every single day. As far as more DARPA news, these go hand in hand. Dex, you found this one. This is great. These go hand in hand. DARPA seeks pathogen detectors that use CRISPR to run 1,000 tests at once. Now, do you remember there was also a thing about there was something about them doing tests and things like this at major events with a lot of people? Do you remember that? Or was that before?
Yeah, and I do recall about being able to do tests and do it in an environment where they were putting out or detecting something in the air and doing detection using lots of people in large events.
Well,
I remember that.
And it's like, and they want to do this, and they're putting money into detecting these chemicals. So what would a common sense person say? That maybe, just maybe, the next, September 9/11 very well could be not something crashing into something, but something going psh and going through the air. There are many incredibly elite people like Bill Gates that have talked about this for a long time. Some of them even agree with population control and say that we need to reduce it and all this stuff. Of course, they think that on their mountain in their $50 billion mansion. But again, and if you look into the different 2030 stuff, different agendas that are going on, you will see that there's a lot of weird things going on. It's if you set up something and then have the protection for it, then you wouldn't be worried, right? It says DARPA is asking researchers to use gene editing technologies for portable diagnostics that produce results in 15 minutes. It says the U.S. Department of Defense, the DoD, has put a call out to researchers to develop devices that detect pathogenic threats by performing up to 1,000 diagnostic tests in fewer than 15 minutes. The devices ideally would determine the presence of a pathogen and useful details about it, such as whether it's drug resistance variety, the severity of the infection, and any co-infections. Very, very creepy stuff. So why are they doing all this right now at this juncture? I have no idea, but it is pretty crazy. Now, I would love to hear what you guys think. Again, give us a call at 224-400-MARF. Now, this is another story coming out, and this is kind of like I don't know, just weird writing on the wall type thing. Multiple gunshot victims reported at Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard. It says multiple law enforcement agencies have converged on Joint Base Pearl Harbor, Hickam, after reported shooting on the base with multiple victims. It says JBPHH security forces have responded to a reported shooting at the Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard. The incident occurred at approximately 2:30 p.m. Due to the ongoing security incident, access gates to JBPHH are closed. We will update when any further information comes out. The Honolulu Police Department dispatched that military authorities are handling the situation. And this is kind of interesting. FBI agents are on the scene assisting Navy Criminal Investigative Services. You know, I'd love to talk to any of the Honolulu Emergency Services or the Honolulu Fire Department members that went and ask them what happened. And again, I'm not saying, I think this is legit stuff, but that's not much information. We don't have a name. We don't have the results. Not the exact results at all, actually. So, and they say multiple law enforcement agencies converged. So, what happened here? Do you guys know? Any islanders watching? I know we've got tons of Hawaiians here. So, you know, let us know if you hear any words about this, or if you hear kind of the rumor mill, let us know. Give us a call. All right. Real quick, Neil Nelson, Adam, disc-shaped craft landed on our farm in 1986, chased my dad in Beanfield, and walked in-house and out through walls. Man, Neil, I never knew. Like, you should have called in on one of our other shows. Like, that's awesome. You should call in and tell that story. Lisa Duane, thank you. I appreciate that. You can always write a message with that as well. Thank you, Lisa. And then Radco Transport, thank you so much. Says, hi, Adam, trying to get some Foogle love. Please help Radco Transport. Now, you don't have to do that to get love. Make sure to just give us a call at 224-400-MARF, but we will pull you up. Paul Wright, look up the Wanda Fuca Plate Cascadia. Look up the Wanda Fuca Plate Cascadia by Paul Wright. Now, I don't know if there's something current, Paul, but we covered that a lot. So I don't know if there's anything different right now, but we'll look into it. Dex, if you could just see if there's anything going on with the Wanda Fuca and Cascadia right now, just if there's any kind of new earthquakes, that would be awesome. And then Belinda Brubaker, okay. Love you, Marf. Thank you, Belinda. I appreciate that. About 31 minutes ago. Dustin Westphalen says, show love, brother and family. Keep up the good work. Your voice has been heard for the world. Hashtag Northeast Mob here. That's awesome. Thank you, Dustin. I appreciate that. Shinobi Juan says, suspicious. E. Steen, I like it. EpiPen, Mr. Jeffrey E. Steen. HD evidence has gone missing. From New Zealand, said Shinobi One. That's crazy. And by the way, he's in New Zealand, not the evidence. That is, I'm not surprised one bit. It says Bonnie Blake says, love the Foogle Fams. Love the Foogle fans. Well, we don't have fans here. We have fams. Elise. I really do think that too. I don't think... And I would say most people agree. People aren't fans of the channel. They're fans of just this. Whatever we have here, it's something that I couldn't have made. It's more everybody. Like, I'm really just proud to be a part of it, and I'm happy that you guys have let me do this for as long as I have. Again, with people getting knocked off, Mr. Benjamin, I am so sorry, sir. And he called it the couple days before that he would. So, man, just lots of horrible things. Go watch High Impact Flicks last couple videos there. He explains it. Angelina Roxy, thank you so much. I appreciate that being the last one out. And Sammy McMillian. Now I'm afraid to say your name because you called me out. Okay. Well, okay, now that that's done, let's get on to this. Kim Jong-un is back on his white horse as NK flags a big decision. Now, can you explain this one? You had this one in there, Dex.
Well, yeah, do you remember he went to the mountain and rode the white horse, and it was sort of it
symbolic.
Sort of reminded me of it was very symbolic, but it also reminded me of when Putin was riding on a horse too, shirtless. But
we'll never see that out of Kim.
No.
Probably be censored for nudity.
But hot on the heels of all the rhetoric from him with Japan, and then with the veiled Christmas threat, if you want to call it that, just the other day. Now he's making yet another symbolic journey on the horse. So, it's just, a little bit of pomp and circumstance, but it's also getting, a lot of attention right now, and he's trying to get a lot of attention.
Now I'm going to go to the regular site here so we can see the pictures attached to this. I think they really didn't add. Okay, there we go. There is. Oh my gosh, this looks like something out of a movie. Doesn't this look like the Never-Ending Story? Like that would be a horse that's in the Never-Ending Story. Very beautiful horses. In fact, these horses are the most beautiful thing in that picture. They're actually the only positive things in that picture. All right. Other than that, China uses DNA to map faces. This is getting worse and worse. And like I said, you don't have to support places that use facial recognition. That's just my opinion. I think that we should not be. But, do what you want. China uses DNA to map faces with help from the West. Yes, that's right. It says Beijing's pursuit of control over a Muslim ethnic group pushes the rules of science and raises questions about consent. Now, this is kind of crazy how it shows how these things kind of read our faces. It says, in a dusty city in Xinjiang region in China's western frontier, the authorities are testing the rules of science. It says, with 1 million or more ethnic Uyghurs and others from a predominantly Muslim minority groups swept up in detentions across Xinjiang. Officials in Tumzuk have gathered blood samples from hundreds of Uyghurs, part of a mass DNA collection dogged by questions about consent and how the data will be used. So they're essentially taking their DNA without permission. I mean, it just keeps getting worse and worse. Why are we doing business with these people? If we are so about freedom and all this, I mean, yes, most people would say that's simple because we owe them a lot of money. And there's so many products that come from there that people don't realize. Like, Dex, what do you think the United States or, a lot of these countries would be, UK, Australia, without Chinese products?
Well, yeah, I mean, in this scenario, it seems like we led the advancement of using DNA technology to sort of identify what a person may look like. It's not real exact, but it's pretty close. It's close enough to produce a rough picture of what that person should look like. And so they're leveraging the technology that we have developed, and now they're using it for something that presumably isn't a really good thing to do. They're going to go through and take DNA from all these people and create, the ability to sort of do facial recognition against them without them having to go index everybody. It's pretty scary.
Now, so here's the thing. When they do this DNA thing and they end up going and doing all this stuff, why do we step in certain areas and then why don't we step in on others? Like, how are they not stepping in? Why aren't we being the good guy and kind of going in and being captain, save a people here? I guess it's because of war, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we would have to go to war to do it.
Yeah, there's a lot. Just look at how much went into us saying that we were against the humane treatment in Hong Kong, right? That was a big deal, and it took us a while to actually get to that point.
Yeah,
and it costs us to do that. So to turn around and do this would also, it would be a similar event.
Well, it's pretty crazy. Okay, so now we're going to get on to something. First off, I wanted to say, if you guys want to help support the channel, you can actually help do this and protect yourself with an EMP shield. Again, the guests that we're going to have on the show are going to thoroughly let people know what's really going on. There are some things that we can't say that I wish we could. But again, I think soon enough, I think everyone will know across the country, and I believe in the next 6 months, a lot of things are going to come out about some of the things that are going on. I believe it's just smart. Even if this never happened, this is actually a good purchase for, say, a home. If you want lightning protection, it's actually, I think, a fifth of a cost of a standard deductible if your house got struck by lightning. So there's a lot of different reasons why this would be a good thing. But again, it protects against EMP E1, E2, and E3 phases. And then this is actually tested by Keystone. It's military standards. And here's the kicker. A lot of people say this and say that. These guys are contracted with the big guys, the DODs, the government agencies. They are protecting themselves with this. After T-Man signed that bill, this company went in. In fact, EMP Shield was mentioned in the EMP Resilience Report by Homeland Security as one of their main, hey, recommended. Again, marfooglenews.com/EMP. There's many different devices. What it does is it grounds the signal. If an EMP hit, or even they tested it up to 43 times, or a CME, a coronal mass ejection, then it will actually ground the signal before it fried your device. So again, if you don't have a vehicle to bug out, then what's the point? If your vehicle doesn't start, if you don't have a generator at your bug out spot, what's the point? And again, if you have your bug out spot and all of the devices are fried, then what's the use? Again, an EMP permanently fries devices, so they are not replaceable, and it will fry every little part that you have laying around to replace. So make sure to look at this at least, and even if you do not go through us, go through somebody else. We actually get $50 off per device, and they are always doing all sorts of different things for the Foogle family. They are an amazing company, and again, we are very open and transparent. We're trying to earn money to grow. We don't beg. We don't do any of the cyber stuff that most people do. And I also don't represent companies that I don't think are doing something right. There's a couple companies I just really dislike, and I think that they're taking advantage of our community, period, our political beliefs and all this and that. And I'm not necessarily meaning offense to anybody who does sell some of their products, but I've turned down several companies. In fact, I've turned down a huge thing that actually would have been 7, 8, 9 months of what the channel's making now, because I didn't believe in their product. So I've done this for a while. I only pick products that I believe in. And this, not only do I believe in it, I know that the government is protecting themselves with this. It's just a dumb move not to, basically look at them. Look at what they're doing. Look at how they're protecting themselves. Don't expect them to protect you. When Hurricane Katrina or something like that happens, the sheriffs, the police, they all went to their nursing homes, their moms, their family. They left duty. That's how bad a disaster can get. They literally just said, I'm not working. Badge off, throw it in the river. I'm going to save my family. That's how bad Cascadia and other places will be. Cascadia, the whole West Coast goes down in power. It could knock out the power grid across the country, or at least the middle part. 21 states are actually preparing. So again, I'm sure that there will be a lot of different things going on there in a second. Again, and I wanted to get to a deadly volcano triggered a tsunami wave taller than the Statue of Liberty. You guys definitely want to check this out. It says a deadly volcanic eruption of Enak Krakatoa in 2018 unleashed a wave at least 100 meters high that could have caused widespread devastation had it been traveling in another direction. So this kind of stuff could happen, and we don't even think about this kind of stuff most of the time, especially just the majority of people. They don't think of a volcano. In fact, most of us live by one. All the way up and down the West Coast, we have a crapload of high-risk volcanoes. You live by one, I live by one. I live by Mount Rainier. If Mount Rainier went off, I would be screwed. I would be dust. I would be ashes to ashes. You probably live one if you are on the West Coast. In fact, the document that Rip Curl sent in and we showed on the show, talking about the Cascadia subduction zone, it just so happens that the USGS is not only worried about Cascadia, but is heavily focusing on all of those volcanoes. Why? Because when a 9+ earthquake 5 minutes goes off, it could very well trigger any one of those volcanoes. It's shaking the whole plate, and think about the magma that's underneath. So definitely want to look at that. We pay attention to this kind of stuff. If you want to read the rest of this article, you can go to marfooglenews.com, and most definitely good article to check out. China's mutant pigs could help save nation from pork apocalypse. I don't even like saying that word. I know it's filtered. It says inside a fortress-like mega farm on the outskirts of Beijing, dozens of pink and black pigs forage and snooze. Unfazed by the chilly spring air, these experimental bred hogs are fortified with a gene for regulating heat, buffering them against northern China's hyperthermia-inducing winters. Now, pull this into it. Just forget about why this article is there. Think about what Russia is offering China. China is actually, dependent on us a lot, or a lot dependent on us for soy. We actually export soy to China. A lot of people don't realize that. And to fix this, Xi Jinping has actually worked with Putin, and they are working on a plan to cut the U.S. out of the deal. They're basically saying, hey, we need to be less dependent on the U.S. So Russia has farmland that it's literally going to give to China for free as long as it's farmed on. And it's actually cold land, but apparently it's soil that's workable. So then China is going to use that for things like this and for soy, and they are going to not be reliant on us. It's almost like they're trying to cut themselves away from us, and well, let's just think. Russia completely separated their internet. China separated the internet. All these things that are going on, it seems like they're trying to make it so they don't care if we're gone. Let's just say that. I don't think they're happy being number 2 and 3. These are mutant pigs. Again, they're stronger, faster, better tasting. I don't know how you add a better taste to genes. Faster growing swine. And it says, now in the wake of a devastating global outbreak of African swine fever, the more crucial need is to safeguard food security and keep hogs alive. It says, quote, the burning question for scientists is how to make the pig more healthy, says Zhao, 45, who heads a 20-strong group of researchers and technicians at the state-run Chinese Academy of Sciences and Institute of Zoology in Beijing, where he's become a superstar in the world of swine genomics. Can you imagine, like trying to use a pickup line at a bar? Like, yeah, I'm at the Chinese Academy of Sciences Institute of Zoology in Beijing, where I'm a superstar in swine genomics. But then you would have to bring a echo machine and go, I'm a superstar in swine genomics. Sorry, I'm done. I'm done. Sorry. Okay, now I'm really done. Done. Either way, super weird. This is why I said if you're 104 years old, a 104-year-old woman shot her first buck after getting her hunting license on opening day. Well, Grandma was not done yet. She had one more adventure to serve, and that was kicking ass and taking names, and she was all out of taking names. I think that's how it works. Florence Taters, straight up, her name is 104 years old too. Florence Taters, a 104-year-old Wisconsin woman, got her first hunting license. She's going to get multiple this week, and then nabbed a deer on her first time out. Taters vowed to hunt last year after she holed up with her son, Bill, in a hunting blind. The pair watched for deer together, but only Bill could take the shot. It says the mother of 5, who raised her children to be hunters, decided she wanted to have a buck of her own. The mother of 5, who raised her children, it says she returned to the blind a licensed hunter. And it says, quote, yes, it was her idea to get the license. And yes, that was her first license. That is just nuts. And oh my gosh. And straight up, the guy tapped her on the knee, pointed. You would think, I don't know what this woman looks like, but you would think 104 pounds, I would just assume she was a little frail, like just pow, pow, just flew out of the blind. That's what I see, but that's just a horrible, National Lampoon scene right there in my head. Just poo, poo, duck and roll, grandma. I don't know. Just super weird. Wild hogs attack and kill woman outside of her home. Yes, that's right. Wild hogs attack and kill woman outside of her home. Where the heck was this? Dex, do you know what state is this? Now I've got to go through all this. Man, they are really trying to set you up for pictures here. So wait, there's no story on this. I'll click on the regular one. I think that's literally it.
Yeah, it didn't load right. It's in Texas. Anahuka, Texas.
This is funny. So it says wild hogs attack and kill woman outside of her home. And it says a Texas woman was found dead after pre-dawn attack by a group of feral hogs. Oh, this is why we do this. By the way, just so you guys know, we actually spend hours before the show making sure that we don't have all these ads and things pop up in your face. Just another step that we do. And then, of course, load up all the articles on the website because I hate that. Every website's got cookies and this and that, and it's all part of the system that we don't want to be a part of, right? It's all collecting data. It's like, oh, well, it's convenient. If you select yes and we collect all of your data and know if you're using your credit card for stuff and know what kind of food you eat, then we'll let you see our information. That's not how it should be. Oh, but it's cheaper than the other way. We would have to charge you. I don't like it. And most of them charge you and they're like, here's your cookies, B.A. Christine Rollins, a 59-year-old caregiver to an elderly couple. Whoa, so she's 60, caregiver to an elderly couple in Anahuac, failed to show up at her normal time on Sunday. The sheriff's office said the 84-year-old homeowner found her lying in the front yard between her car and the house. Holy moly. It says Sheriff Brian Hawthorne said in a news conference that, quote, multiple hogs assaulted Rollins when she arrived at work, likely between 6:30 and 7 when it was still dark, or 6 and 6:30. It says, quote, in my 35 years, I will tell you it's one of the worst things I've ever seen, Hawthorne told reporters. Jefferson County Medical Examiner Sally Rivers determined Rollins was attacked by different hogs because of various size of the bites on her body. Mature feral hogs can weigh between 100 and 400 pounds. Wow. That is absolutely nuts. I mean, like, that's just nuts. Be killed by wild hogs. You'd think I would climb up on top of my, I would climb on top of my car. They must have got the jump on her. I mean, shoot, that is just nuts. I am so sorry for that lady. Nobody ever wants to see that. All right, so we're gonna Margaret Hubbard. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right. Now, what is going on here? And let's see here. Bam. Okay. All right, Dex. So if you guys don't know, we are also partnered with NordVPN. It is a virtual private network. It actually protects you from the bad guys. If you spend a good amount of your time on the internet, essentially, you need one of these. Almost all of your geeky computer friends are almost guaranteed on one. What it does is it hides your IP from not only the bad guys, but different parties. Dex, can you explain it? Because you're way better at it. You're my tech guy.
Yeah, sure. Real quick, people can attack your network at home because they capture your IP address because they socially engineered a way to get you to click on a link, and boom, you never even knew it happened to you. This happens to people all the time. And when you're using a VPN, you can sort of move yourself out of that problem and no longer have that attack happen. Also, people can watch all of the internet traffic you're using on your computer if they're on the same network, like in Starbucks, or if they attack your home network. So having a VPN will secure and lock all that down so that you don't have those vulnerabilities. And then Nord, I've used it for years. It's so easy. It's literally like a light switch. You turn it on and off. It's not a geeky application that only your the teenagers that know how to use computers are going to use it. Anybody can use it.
Well, that, and it's like if you're watching this kind of content anywhere, you're going to be put on a list at some point. If you're not already on one, you can kind of put that off to somewhere. And then again, this can go on to 6 different devices. So what's awesome about that is you can be in a coffee shop, you can be in Starbucks, you can be in Target. A lot of you guys actually set it to where it automatically hooks up to Wi-Fi, so you save bandwidth. This way, it actually protects all of your devices, your kids' devices. You can also set up different things as well. So if your kids are on tablets or things like that, you should have one of these. There are increasing amounts of weirdos that are actually tracking down IP addresses of kids. They go to the YouTube videos. This whole thing previously is that guys were looking for these. They knew that it was kids doing the comments on the channel. That's why they had this comment thing, is because they were just doing JKF, FE. These kids couldn't read. They were just tapping buttons. They tracked them. Like, this is creepy stuff. So again, either way, there's just weirdos in general. So hide yourself back. It's 30-day money-back guarantee. It helps the channel, and they are giving the Foogle family up to 84% off on their best plan. It's a no-brainer if you are going with a VPN. All right. With that being said, go to marfooglenews.com/VPN, or if you end up on their website somehow, make sure to use the code MARFOOGLE. Again, that's marfooglenews.com/VPN, code MARFOOGLE. All right, and nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone who helps with the show, including the awesome mods. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. That's why it is so incredibly important that we all talk about these things and get closer to the truth. Marfoogle News is closing in on 147. Obviously, the API doesn't show that, but if you have not seen Marfoogle News, we have edited films over there. This one is actually the last one we put out with that call from the gentleman that said about the new Navy map. I'd love to get your feedback on that. Make sure to go over and thumbs that up. Share it with friends if you can. Again, if you want to share either of the channels, the links are right here, up and below. If you want to share marfoogle.news, that's what you do. Just write marfoogle.news on something and give it to them. When they go to that, it will automatically bring them in any browser. It will bring them to the thing and have them subscribe. If you want to share this channel with the live show, marfoogle.tv, boom, it's done. Okay, so with that being said, Discord, we have a new Creators Corner. If you haven't been around for the last couple weeks, we not only have our exclusive military channel, but we have our Creators Corner for more than 100 subs and more than 20 plus vids. That's because in just a few days from now, 6 days from now, things are going to change, and we need to get together. We just had several people just go poof off of the internet. Get in there. That's why we're forming. And that's pointed towards the people, and you know who you are. Get in there if you're a creator. I'm going to have big creators in there, several. One of them is 10 times my size. So get in there. You'll be able to possibly talk to some of your favorite YouTubers in there. Make sure to do that. MarFoogleNews.com for that. And then if you would like to support us in another way, obviously we don't expect you to support us in all the ways, but if you do find something that you actually do, if you've been earthing or grounding for decades, then if you need to re-up on your stuff, please go through our link and help us out. MarFoogleNews.com/earthing. There is free shipping still with the code MH for Muriel Hemingway. Again, you can go here to go to both and then support us. I use it. Dex uses it. In fact, Dex and his wife have been using it for years and years before we ever had anything with ground therapy. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of people in the Foogle Fam that have already gone public and said that this has changed your life. Another thing, too, I just want to remind you, if you want to do this for free, you can go out in your yard and be barefoot. That might sound crazy, but you have to do your research. That's why I suggest watching the Earthing movie where they go over the medical studies. It's really that crazy. It's called grounding. It's just like when you plug in something in the wall, it grounds you. That's what I got to say about that. Again, open and transparent, and I think the reason why we've done so well is we're super honest with you about our intentions and what we do, and I really can't say enough. Thank you, and I appreciate it. If we ever get knocked off, I would only ask one favor, because we don't ask for donations. We don't ask for anything. Please stand up for what shows you like. And that not only includes me, that includes anybody on the platform that might be wrongly or mistakenly taken off, because we are not past it. We are very PG as much as we can without getting as much information, or with getting as much information out. But please stand up for us. Support us, because we might need, we might actually have to have legal counsel for this kind of stuff. So that's another reason why we do this. All right, and then if you want to support Cars for Heroes, not 10%, not 30%, not 50%, but 100% of the Marfia shirts go towards Cars for Heroes. That is a charity that actually gives all of that money to veterans who cannot afford transportation. If you know some veterans, you know that they're not exactly treated 100% amazing all the time. In fact, I know some that just, it really felt like they just got kind of left on the doorstep. Especially some of them that have given and sacrificed their limbs, sacrificed their minds, sacrificed their peace for us and for our safety. So I salute you and your sacrifice, and that's why we are doing this. Again, 100% of the proceeds of these shirts are going towards that charity. All right, with that being said, we've got it on, and we are getting our calls going. Boom, bam, wham, bam. Thank you, Jan. I guess Jan. I just didn't want to say ma'am, because that's just rude. All right, up first, we've got Terry. Terry, you are live on Marfoogle News.
Hi, Adam.
Okay, so let me pull this up real quick. I've got your card here. Let's see. Terry, you are a previous caller out of Chicago, and you wanted to talk about an update to Navy map caller from last night's and Woman's Dream. Yeah. Okay, go for it.
Okay, so years ago, I was listening to the 700 Club, and there was a lady on there that was talking about how she had a dream, and this dream wouldn't stop until she sat down and drew out the map of America as it looks like today, and then what it's supposed to look like in the future, and it was exactly like that map. So she had over 50 dreams one night after another, and it wouldn't stop until she did this.
Now, let me ask you a question. So this was a story that was on 700 Clubs. Now, was this before
The
everybody?
lady was on there. The
Now-
lady was on there talking about it. Yeah.
When? Okay, so when did that come out? Like, was that before or after we got this new Navy map?
Oh no, this was like 30-some years ago. Yeah.
And
it was
is
a long
this
time ago.
Is this
They would
something that's
have-
archived?
I don't know. I don't. Is it still on? I don't even know if the show.
Well, not
is still
even
I
on.
haven't watched
No. Pat Robertson's on. The 700 Club's still on.
Yeah.
That guy is still
Is
rolling.
it? I haven't watched TV in a while. Yeah.
Me neither. But I just saw him the other day, but yeah. So I'm just wondering if that's in one of their archives. If it's true that 30 years ago they showed that.
It
What
was
if-
on TV. I heard it with my ears.
I heard it with my ears. I love that. I heard it with my ear holes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
just saying.
I saw it with my
I heard
eyeballs.
The lady talk.
Okay. Well, no, I believe you. I believe you saw it. I would love it if we could
Yeah.
pull that old footage up, and I wonder if they archive that kind of thing, if they have some sort of if they're trying
wouldn't it be nice?
to convert that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That sounds crazy. So when you remembered this, so you remembered 30 years ago this
I
thing?
remember. Yeah.
Is it because it was scary to you that you thought, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that would be horrible?
Yeah. Because I hear so much about America and how this is going to happen, and when I see that map, it just, it shakes me up.
Well, I would see why. It's a very scary thought. The entire coastline, both of them, being
Chicago's
rewrote.
not going to exist if that happens.
That's really scary. Well, Terry, is there anything else, if you've been watching for a while, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about while you're here?
No, that's it. I just wanted to get that information out to everybody.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, if you can confirm, I feel like we're going to get other people that are going to say they saw that too. If you saw that, if you remember what Terry's talking about, email me, send me something. If you guys can kind of go out and do some Foogle research and see if you can find a clip or something, that would be awesome, man. Imagine if we could find that. Thank you so much, Terry. You have a blessed night, and I will talk to you later. All right, so that was Terry. Up next, we have Living Tomorrow's Dream. And Living Tomorrow's Dream is going to talk about grand solar minimum and why countries are acting the way they are. And, of course, T-Man's wall. Now, again, when you talk about T-Man, let's just make sure we say T-Man. Living Tomorrow's Dream, you are live on Marfoogle TV.
Hey, Adam, how you doing?
Good. So you want to talk grand solar minimum and why countries are acting the way they are. Go.
Yeah, so, you got China moving, building. You got the Ruskies, Turks. Yeah, everybody's all acting weird. You got the world going all, sorry, I'm a little jittery and nervous.
Just talk to me like we're on the phone. By the way,
yeah, so.
Yeah, just to end up like clapping or jumping or doing something, and then you'll be fine.
Okay, yeah, so, yeah, you're in your underwear. Okay, got it. Anyway,
Your fly's open.
So, they're all acting weird. And, the world is going upside down. We all know something's going to happen. The world's getting cold. But the reason why everyone's acting all weird is we all know we're going into a cold phase, which is the grand solar minimum, right? So we are going to lose food. Everybody knows that. T-Man knows that. And everybody knows the only safe zones is 300 miles north and south of the equator zone, right? So T-Man's building your guys' wall, and, he's letting everybody in, sort of, evacuating, depleting South America, hypothetically, Let's all just say, theoretically, this is all hypothetically, theoretically, whatever you want to call it.
No
so
problem.
Depleting all that, and the wall is there to keep everybody. Once they get them all north, they got the safe zone south, right? 300 miles north and south of the equator. Where's the wall? Basically a 300-mile north zone. And what's south? Barely nothing that they have to worry about. You know what I'm saying? All the countries are all thinking that way. They're all going for the equator zone. And they only got...
So are you saying like this is something out of like the day after tomorrow? Is that what you're talking about? Like at some point the top half of the planet's going to be done?
The day after tomorrow, that in history only happened twice. That in scientific terms, that only happened twice ever, right? Like when the mammoths frozen, they were instantly flash frozen. They got food in them still. Napoleon and his army. Yeah, stupid mistakes by him, but basically the same consequences, right? Just Earth had its cycle shift with the sun going out of phase. It's all cycles. It's all, whether it's the sun, whether it's we're going through all shifts of the atmosphere, it's all sequential. It's all the time. And we just happen to be in that time. And unfortunately, my daughter, your daughters, are actually going to be living in that time.
Is that why your name is Living Tomorrow's Dream? Is that kind of where that came from?
What? Well, exactly. Yeah. Like, I worked for 15 years in a steel plant, actually a rubber shop, building, steel pipes, rubber hoses, steam hoses, pressure hoses. And what actually intrigued me about 5 years ago was the Ruskies. I worked for a big company, WEIR, called Weir. They're a big international company.
I believe I've heard of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they have shops all over the States and a bunch in Canada. They're a big international worldwide company. Anyways, I worked for them for 15 years before my hands got shot. And, yeah, about 5-7 years ago, the Ruskies ordered so much piping, I started wondering, what are they building? They were ordering so much intricate piping, so much special design, steam hoses, pressure hoses, this, that. And I was just like, what are they building? And all these stuff is all for oil, like transferring oil. They're all built out of neoprene, so they have to withstand high acidic acids, like piping for gas. So what are they building?
Well, and another thing is the call that we got about 4 or 5 months ago. I kind of have you do kind of reminded me kind of an update to that. So I don't know how long have you been watching the show?
I've been watching you for about a year now. That's not a little long.
So you probably, I don't know if you saw the show that we did where the woman called in, and we actually clipped it because this one was important. Her and her boyfriend worked at a company that made the wiring for power companies, right? They did all these shipping, right?
Yeah.
He was a daytime worker, and he was getting called in not only daytime, nighttime, 24/7. She was actually going in after hours in the middle of the night to help him fill orders for all of these power plants around the country. And because they were all wanting all this stuff. So they're like, what are they preparing for? They were getting backups of everything. Something is going on. Like, seriously. So the update is that we had at least 2 people when I was going through trying to email back people. One person sent confirmation with an actual order form, which I can't show, that they ended up buying some absurd amount from the company that this guy worked at. So not only was it confirmed, he said that it was 18 times what their normal order was. And I was thinking, what the hell was going on? So I just thought that was weird. You just reminded me of that, and I'm like, they are preparing for something good, and they're not using any of it. They said that it's in storage. It's all the stuff that they actually use, but there's 18 times what it has right there, just sitting there, doing nothing. What are they preparing for? I have no idea.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I wonder about my country as well. Like, with our tar sands and, over in Alberta and that, we used to manufacture a lot of stuff for them too, out of neoprene and that, for all their oil transfers and that, for their pipelines, right? And our production went down because they're cutting them off. Like, why do they want to preserve all that? Who are they saving that for? Where is that going to go?
Exactly.
What do they want to do with our oil now?
Well, great call. I really appreciate you calling in, and I would love to hear from you again. Living tomorrow's dream. I appreciate you, and it's your first. Is this your first time call? This isn't.
Yeah,
it
is my
is
first time call. I'm under two other names. I'm actually watching on my wife's account on my iPad. I just trashed my phone. I just got my new phone. I'm trying to recover my memory, so all my old data, I'm still trying to get it off my phone onto the computer to get it on my new phone.
Well, no worries. Well, what's your normal name so I can know?
I can't even remember, honestly.
Well, I will see you at some point.
I think I like my new name. I think I like my new name. It was basically along those lines, so that's why I'm like, Well,
I like it too.
People think I'm crazy. Wife thinks I'm crazy, so I'm just like, fuck.
All right, well, we're going to get to the next caller. I appreciate you calling, and please, since it's your first time call, don't make it your last, okay?
Well, hey, it's hard calling in, so it took me almost, 6 months to get in, so maybe another 6 months I'll talk to you.
All right. Have a good night, man. A lot of people say that, but there's people that get through almost every night. I guess you guys, you gotta really just, I don't get that. Dex, you don't get that either, huh? I don't get that. Sometimes we don't even have calls.
Yeah, sometimes it's weird. Sometimes they're not, and then other times 100 people are calling at the exact same time, and you can't answer that many calls.
All right, so now we've got Central Florida Prepper warning about holiday deliveries, and there's a video that goes with this. What's up, CFP, on the phone live?
Hey, Marv, how you doing, buddy?
Good. So I didn't get any heads up about the video. Let's see. What is this? Can you explain?
Oh, that video happened early this morning, man. We got I guess early holiday shoppers. They did a smash and grab on all of our vehicles in our neighborhood. They hit like 4 of our streets. We're in a little gated community area, and dude, man. So that was my video of me walking out after my neighbors banged down the door and after I talked to the cop and stuff. So I didn't record the cop our direct communication because he was asking my name and address. But I just went ahead and filmed and walked up and talked to the other police officer, filmed there and talked to some of my neighbors and stuff. But yeah, I don't lock my doors, man, to keep my windows from getting knocked out. But I never keep any property in the car. I woke up to the doors open and stuff. But we had vehicles with the windows knocked out. We had security lights torn off of houses. 2 of my cameras were altered. One, the focus lens was actually screwed out and the cable cut. They actually dusted that one for prints, but they didn't get anything. And one of the other ones, the cable was cut. Now, a couple of days prior, I was on the phone with my buddy Ryan over there at Prescott Calder Club. He's a prepper too. He's got his own group out in Arizona. Because I had caught somebody on my camera 3 nights before for about 3 nights straight. I call them creepers. Kept slipping in the yard and stuff. But they were doing it like 3 o'clock in the morning, things like that, usually when I'm asleep. So one night I was actually texting him, told him what I was doing, because actually I called my team in, because I got my own group here. We staged up and we waited, but they never came back. And 2 nights later, we got hit. So they were actually stalking us, and they were able to identify where my cameras were. And when the police were here, they asked if I had any footage, so I just gave them I have a removable hard drive for our DVR system for our camera, and I just traded off to them. Hopefully they'll be able to find something. I don't know if they can or not, but yeah, I think about the holiday stuff, man.
Now let me ask you a question here, because I saw that you showed in the video there's a cop down the street. He's probably responding to a different one, right?
Yeah, that's a different one. That's one of my neighbors. couple RVs up, because we live in an RV park and also a mobile home park is all mixed together. Her place was actually, they had broken into and still she left her purse in the car, and they ransacked it, got her credit cards and her wallet, which I don't know why anybody would leave their purse in their car, but she did. And there's a couple other ones. That was just, we got hit 3 on our street. It was 26 people actually got hit in the park. So we're thinking maybe there's somebody on the inside, but then again, we don't know. I mean, we got what they call those people, the community patrols that go around, night watch and all that stuff, which is a joke, really.
That's pretty brazen.
They bother people.
26
man,
people.
It is. And
wow.
26 cars, yeah, and some of them actually knocked the windows out. They actually found a laptop in the middle of the street on one of our intersections where it looks like they dropped everything. But we had a couple sheds kicked in. I mean, I don't know how they did it so quietly, though, because at night you don't hear anything in this park. So they were real quiet when they did. I don't know how they knocked windows out that quiet, but
ceramic.
No, dead of the
they
night,
use a piece of broken toilet, or a ceramic spark plug. They tap it, and the whole thing just shatters quietly. If they do it right.
That would make sense. I have seen that before. Yeah, I've seen that. I actually seen that on YouTube before. Yeah,
you know what I hate though? I had my Honda. They broke both windows when the car was open. That's what pissed me off. I used to leave my 93 Honda completely open. There was nothing in it. I just left it that way. When I used to live in kind of a suburban area, and I wasn't too worried about it. I knew if they stole it, I'd rather have them easily take it, drop it off somewhere. I've had 4 Hondas, and 3 out of 4 had been stolen, and they were all older models. You could literally stick a screwdriver in, pop the ignition out, and stick the screwdriver in and start it. That's how easy it was to steal. So I would rather, I think in 2 of them, I left the keys on the visor. Like, here, take my car, leave it somewhere, so I can then, pick it up. Each one of them I got back, and one of them they filled up my gas tank, and back then I smoked weed. They left a sack in the front seat. I was like, this is amazing. I've told that story many times on here.
Crazy.
It was pretty funny.
They left a pack of cigarettes in the car, and I don't know. I mean, you usually think if someone's running through your car, they steal your cigarettes. My wife said they took our lighter. I'm like, okay, so crackhead, got it.
They're the courteous crooks. The courteous crooks. That's what.
Yeah, the courteous
them.
crooks, man. So we're running patrols here, because the little night watch they've got. I mean, my group here is made up of a lot of people that work. Right now I'm not working, so I just got done with one of my shifts. I'm fixing to do another one here in a couple of hours. But I'll tell you what, this entire time I was out there tonight, not a single cruiser, nobody's driving through, checking anything, and we just got hit. So for people that's ordering on Amazon and stuff, go talk to your neighbors, somebody that you trust, to watch your home when they deliver these packages and stuff, because I've had orders come in and I'll be away from town and I'll get a picture, if I even get a picture, saying, hey, we delivered this, and it's just sitting there on the porch wide open. I'm like, so you got those porch pirates and stuff like that. So just be, hopefully everyone's a little vigilant on when they order things, and have somebody there to either pick up their stuff or watch it for them till they get home, because these people are just coming right. I mean, we're not even near. We're 10 miles from the outskirt of Orlando. There's nothing around. There's a nursery place across the street from me. There's nothing around here. So for people to venture out here makes me think it's on the inside, someone that actually lives here in this park. But yeah, so hopefully everyone just keeps their eyes open. Well,
no, it's a great warning, and this season is going to be the worst. Sorry about that. We read the study that just happened, and they said that year after year it's gotten worse and worse. So they say that they predict this year is going to be the worst all-time year of thievery of Amazon packages, everything. So much so that I actually had my I did finally get I didn't get it, but I finally ordered my YouTube plaque for this channel. I basically, you guys know what I thought. I thought if we're gonna be gone on December 10th, then I might as well get my plaque beforehand. So I ordered that early this month with the serious consideration that I might not be here, and it will be a souvenir to leave with. So I had that sent to my P.O. box instead of my home, because I was worried that it could get stolen. And if it does, they're not going to replace it, right? So
No, they're definitely not going to replace it.
no, and
you know, it's just.
sucks.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying if you know you get something expensive, we actually showed you on that like 60% of them, you know, Amazon doesn't replace, the company doesn't replace, so you're just screwed, and that guy gets your crap. So it's no good in any any reason.
Some things you get insurance on, but other things you just can't get insurance on. But you know, of course, the paranoid prepper in me automatically thought I was being targeted because, like I said, I caught him slinking around for a while, and prior days, like I said, I was actually calling up my buddy there in Arizona, Prescott Caliber Club, said, dude, what do you think about this? Like, yeah, watch it. So we were actually setting up basically stings. I had a guy in my shed, had a guy across the street. I'm out there with my night vision. You know, we did total blackout. And that's what we're doing right now. We're actually walking, you know, we're quiet. We're not in battle rattle or nothing like that. We're just walking down the streets every couple hours, different groups. We have our night vision, so we're not flashlighting people's houses while we're walking down the roads. You know, just keeping an eye out. And they're probably not going to come back, but the fact is that they mess with my cameras has me worried about something more major coming, you know, as far as breaking and entering of homes or something like that. So, you know, we're just keeping our eyes open. So hopefully if you guys or anybody else that's going anywhere, talk to your neighbors and friends. Even if you don't trust your neighbor, talk to your friend that you know that can drive by and check on your house every couple of days.
Especially if you're going on vacation. No, I completely agree. And that's weird that they messed with your security camera. That's super brazen. That's like they took out your focus thing on it.
They actually unscrewed the focus lens, and that's not easy to do. I mean, you can do it by hand, but it takes a while to do it. So hopefully, whoever was messing with it was picked up on the hard drive because
so they basically sat
knew where
there.
It was.
They were there for a minute. Yeah.
They were there for a minute because it takes a while to get those little fine threads out. So then they went ahead and clipped it. So I'm like, okay, now it's completely disabled. But mine runs to those cameras there are a cheap camera that I bought at Harbor Freight. It doesn't record. So I got a DVR recorder that I just plug in with one of those little removable hard drive. It costs like $60. That way I have everything recorded. So that, you know, they went through and talked to my group here because we all got cameras. So whoever it was, they're on film somewhere. So they'll eventually get them. But yeah, for the other cars that got smashed, man, you know, I don't tell anybody not to lock their doors. My experience, a locked door just keeps an honest person honest. And I'm just, you know, the silver lining is we're fixing to buy a newer truck. And I was talking to my wife. I said, well, good thing we didn't buy that new truck yet, because if I would have locked the door and I would already known, they'd have knocked out the window. So, you know, got to look at the bright side sometimes.
Absolutely. Well, CFP, it's great to have you call in, and we'd love to do some more collaborations in the future. Thank you so much for calling. And if I don't talk to you in the next couple weeks, Merry Christmas, man.
All right, brother. I do appreciate it, man. And y'all take care, and always the best for you and your family, man.
You know what we should do? We should do a Christmas special with all the Foogle Fam. Do you think that would be cool?
That would be cool. Yeah, definitely would be cool.
I think that
I do
would
know
be
Dex
too.
does have my number and stuff, so yeah, just reach out, let me know.
Okay, and then you guys, just to pull up, this is Central Florida Prepper. We could easily see him hit 3,000 subscribers soon. He's at 2.82 thousand. That's like what, only 180 people or something, or if I'm not doing, I
think I'm like 2,820 now. I think it is something like that.
Yeah, you're only like 180 away from 3,000. And geez, we almost got that watching. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, CFP.
That's awesome, man.
You have a good night and be safe.
Absolutely, Marv.
All right. Be prepared.
All right, man. You too. Y'all have a good one. Absolutely.
Right. Boom. Up next, we have a really cool name. Again, go to Central Florida Prepper. He's a very, very, just an incredibly credible person inside and out. All right, and then Enchanted by You. You are live on Marfoogle TV.
Thank you. It's been a long time. Well, I want to talk about 3 issues, actually. I know it says there that I only want to talk about 2.
Okay.
I don't think Dex would put the other one down. But the first one is I was wondering if you could promote Dex's channel more, because I can never find it.
He didn't put it down either. That's funny.
I know. he's like, well, you have to tell him. So sorry, Dex, but I'm telling him. So.
Oh, we have no problem showing Dex's. Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. And then DNA kits for the holidays.
Yeah, I want to talk about two things about before DNA kits for the holidays. You know the issue that happened at a Texas plant here a couple days ago?
Yes.
In Houston. Yeah, I just got an alert on my phone, maybe about 45 minutes it's been. And let me just say, when that first happened with this plant, because I'm in Houston, when that first happened with this plant, the surrounding areas were told to shelter in place. But about 45 minutes ago, I got a notice on my phone saying now that they're doing a voluntary evacuation and asking people to please get your things and get out. And I thought that was really kind of strange, because at first it was shelter in place, and now they're like, well, the winds are changing, so now everyone needs to leave. You know?
Yeah, that's kind of weird. That's just a little bit not okay.
Yeah, and this happened like right after, I guess, 10 or so my time, like 10:20. But I don't know. So now they're making people evacuate, and it kind of makes me wonder if something else is going on at the plant, because it wasn't extreme enough to evacuate when everything happened, you know. But I just
later
wanted
on,
to throw that in there.
No, that's
yeah.
That's no fun at all. And then that's Do you have any like screenshots of that or anything, or
it's actually on. It just notified on my phone. It was posted through ABC News Houston. I get their like alerts and everything, and so it just popped up on my phone, and I read the article there, and it said that starting tonight, definitely through at least tomorrow morning, they don't know yet. And so far, they don't have a time of when they plan to, you know, end the voluntary evacuation. But that they were saying starting tonight, going forward, a voluntary evacuation. Now, they said that people like nursing homes, you know, people, of course, in hospitals, they weren't going to evacuate them. And even though it said voluntary, like in the end of the article, it said something like, basically get your stuff and move quickly and be safe and get out. It was just kind of creepy, especially since they didn't evacuate the place ahead of time, or, you know, when it really happened.
Yeah, no, so, and you never know what's happening. You never know what, like, something could have leaked, or, you know, this is exactly what we've kind of warned against. Like, you know, there are different threats against different places like this. They could have had, you know, several things happen. So that's super weird.
Who knows? Well, and you're always saying, too, about, you know, if something is changing weather-wise or whatever around our areas that you wanted to hear about it. Well, not.
Are you still there?
I've been spending every summer in Houston for way longer than I'd like to admit. And my dad's always been an avid fisherman. We would go out fishing every summer. And at the beginning of this summer, as far as fishing, they said that the fishing wasn't safe to eat if you were under 12 years old. And then they, oh good.
Sorry about that. The sound here, I got to repeat it because I turned my mic off so I wouldn't blast everybody. Voluntary evacuation order issued near Port Neches blast site. Super weird. So I got that in the background for people to look at. So keep going. Sorry about that.
And so, about the fishing here this summer, they said, because we love to go fishing, but this summer they said that it wasn't safe to eat the fish or the crab if you were like under 12 years old, except for one time a month. And now just recently, right before this plant explosion went out, at least, you know, I try and keep up with the fishing because I like to take the family fishing. Right before this plant happened the other day, not long before that, they had turned it to where no one, no age, whatever, it wasn't safe for anyone to eat the fish or the crabs around our area here. And then the plant thing
another
happened.
thing is this is shelter. It says updating the previous shelter-in-place order, like you said, issued earlier this evening for the area. The voluntary evacuation order will remain in effect, get this, until further notice. So, I mean, it could be a week, 2 weeks, whatever. Now
read
weird.
the next sentence. The next sentence is key.
Under the order, officials recommended residents leave the area as quickly and safely as possible as a protective action. That's
Isn't that
super
scary?
Weird. That's
Yeah.
okay. Wow. Under the order, officials recommend quickly as possible.
Yeah, I've been down here when these plants have exploded before. You know, this is obviously not my first time, and we have to watch things carefully and decide if we need to leave or close our vents or whatever they say. But I've never seen one go from semi-extreme to now get out, you know?
Yeah, no, that's
That just-
and it says voluntarily. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, but leave us quickly.
Well, so we're gonna watch that now. This is actually so we're gonna actually put a link, Dex. If we can put a link to this situation here in Texas. Again, somebody actually just chatted and said, "Hey, CFP, I need a link." If you Google Central Florida Prepper, you'll be able to find them. But again, Central Florida Preppers link is already on our website. We're doing it live. That's another cool thing about this. We actually have Living Tomorrow's Dream, Central Florida Prepper, Enchanted Bayou, Cosmic Society, even up next. So this is awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much for calling. We're going to watch it.
Can I say one thing real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sorry. I am so worried about all the people buying DNA kits for Christmas. And I know this is going to sound crazy in a way, but I just worry when you talk about like social credit score and you talk about the things that are going in, like happening in China where they don't like a certain type of their population. And so they're trying to kind of keep a hold on them. And it very much concerns me, not necessarily for like our generation, but, you know, I have younger kids, about disclosing our full ethnicity, I guess you could say.
And in the future, think about this.
Yeah.
Remember what happened back then, right?
Exactly.
They didn't have a system like that. You could say, "Oh no, I'm not Jewish. Nope, I'm not." And they couldn't actually tell. They could kind of tell. I mean, like, you know what I mean? They guessed. Some people actually got wrongly accused. And then some people got away with it that, you know, they pretended to be Russians for 15 years until, you know, whatever. But as far as what she's saying is she's afraid that we do the DNA tests, even if we're 10% something, a leader comes in power 50 years from now and says, you need to be annihilated. That's scary. That's a scary thought. No, I get you.
Or, you know, the women in my family, we have, I mean, nothing terrible disease-wise like cancer or whatever, but we have like endometriosis and some other things. And I won't personally take the test because I'm worried, you know, in 30 years, well, 20 years or whatever, if my son wants to have a baby and his fiance gets pregnant and they're like, nope, you know, the women and, you know, is pregnant with a little girl or something, the women in that family are all flawed. We need to abort that pregnancy or, you know what I mean, terminate that pregnancy. That kind of stuff really worries me about having my genetics where the government can see them. And I hate seeing all these commercials this time of year about, you know, give us your DNA, give us your DNA. Oh, buy it for everyone you know. I'm not buying into it. It's really scary how much they are like forcing it down our throat last year and this year on commercials because I get them all the time.
No, I agree with you. And now it's so convenient. You can just blip, 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 just do a quick swab, and now you know exactly what your genetic mutations are, right? Well, thank you so much for calling.
Perfect holiday gift.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Enchanted Bayou. You have a wonderful night. God bless you, all right?
You too. Take care. Bye.
All right, bye. And then Cosmic Society. Again, if you listen to a caller and you like their stuff, you like their channel, or if you want to know if they have one, it's all going to be right here on the website. That's so cool. That's even up there before he even got it. So when he takes a call, he gets all the information and he puts it right up. Boom. Done. All right, so let's now grab another first-time caller. I'm super excited for this. Paranormal investigator and published author. Cosmic Society, you are live on Marfoogle TV. What's going on?
Hey, Marf, I'm just trying to get off speaker. Hold on one second.
No
Is
problem.
that better?
Are you standing on top of your phone?
Wait, now I can't hear you. Is that okay?
That's fine. Let me
Okay, good.
turn you up a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, you're good. Cosmic Society.
Okay, Marf.
I've got a link here. I'm going to pull it up.
Yeah.
Calling from Connecticut. What's your story?
Well, I'm a paranormal investigator for over 25 years, and I've been trying to call in. I've been watching your show for about 2 years, and, you know, I see people talking about their ghost stories on your show, and I thought you should see some of my photographs. So I think you're going to be looking at, I have tons of stories. I do slide presentations, and I've been on, you know, several television shows and written a couple books about ghost stories, and I also am the director of Haunted Connecticut Tours. So we're going to be talking tonight about the Mr. Pete man who showed up in my photograph, and I call him Mr. Pete because that was the name that was on the gravestone that he was standing behind.
Oh my God.
So
That is freaky.
you see him?
Oh yeah, and it was so
gonna
creepy when I did. Do you guys
Right,
see him?
did your hair stand up?
Do you guys see him? Put in the chat where you see him, because it's actually, you could easily look at this picture for 10 minutes and not see him, but once you see him, you can't unsee him. Is he on the
And
left,
then
the right, or in the middle?
Once you do that, if you scroll down, there's a blow up there. I think there might be two, like with different tone, you know, to the picture.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Scroll down a little bit.
Okay. So cool. I would, you know, this is what a unique.
So
job.
I'll tell you, while you're looking at the pictures, so the next one you'll see it's blown up, and you know how it gets pixelated, but there's no mistaking there's a man there. And how it all started, this picture actually propelled me into television and into doing the tours and writing the books. Several television shows and like local area places wanted me to come on their, you know, news shows and just talk about it. And it just, everything went from there. Here I am 25 years later, helping people, you know, that are afraid to be in their houses, and working with incredible people. So in any event, how this happened was, I was married at the time. My kids were little. We were coming from a birthday party, and this was before digital cameras. Driving along, coming home, and I had this overwhelming feeling I needed to jump out of the car and run over to the cemetery and take a couple photos. The ex-husband was, you know, like, what's wrong? I could think he thought I was going to get sick or something. And the last two photos on the roll of film, I just snapped them into the cemetery. And in one, like the overview is the first picture you saw. And then there's another picture where I kind of zoomed into the one area. And, you know, back in the olden days, we used to send our film into a place called Clark Labs because it was cheap. And there wasn't even 1 hour photo yet. And got the photos back, and it's, you know, birthday party, and, you know, where we were coming from. And then the last two photos, there was this man standing there. And so many strange coincidences, which I don't believe in. I took the photo, I went back to the cemetery, I located the gravestone, and then I found the names on the gravestone, and I said, okay, I have to find out who this family is. So I went to the local library, to the reference section, which you can't take those books home with you, and started doing research. So there was an 800-page reference book. I stuck my thumb in and flipped it open, because it's like the most boring book you'd ever want to read. And I just flipped it open, and this word jumped out at me. And the word was the name of a tiny little town out in Pennsylvania where my mom came from. And it led me to all these connections to this Pete family, where this man standing behind the gravestone. So, I mean, one thing led to another. It was just so crazy. And then, I don't know, maybe 2 months later, if you scroll down a little more, you'll see the actual gravestone. So I'm looking at these pictures, and I looked at this gravestone picture, and I turned it sideways. And when I turned it sideways, that same man's face is in the moldy gook, the lichen that collects on gravestones. And so it was just, there he is. So, of course, like all the local newspapers and stuff got, really excited about it. And it just, one thing led to another. And then maybe another month later, I happened to be home by myself, sitting on the couch. It was late at night. Everybody was in bed except me. And I went to the kitchen to get a cup of tea. I was opening the refrigerator to get half and half. And the telephone, which was on the wall, it caught my attention. I looked over, and there he was. He was melded. I could still see the phone, but there was this man, and he wasn't looking at me. He was looking straight ahead. His arms were crossed over his chest, and his white shirt was glowing. I think that's what caught my attention. And I slowly closed the refrigerator, and he faded away. I went and sat on the couch and just sat there, and I was like, did I just really see that? And as I was thinking that, little trinkets started falling off the windowsills I had in the bathroom. And I mean, it's just so crazy. So all of these years later, I've done so much research, come to find out that here's one of the coincidences. His family, his ancestors out in Pennsylvania, where my mom was from, where that one word jumped out of an 800-page book at me when I stuck my thumb in. I met with his ancestors, and come to find out his, great-great-great-grandson, because this was the 1700s, this gravestone, was the nurse who was in the hospital when my grandmother died. Like, his ancestor was with my ancestor, in the hospital hundreds of years later. So that's just one of my stories, Marf, and I have several more. So, there's so many things I love to talk about, and I love your show. I love the Foogle Fam. I've never felt, more friends in this lonely existence of being a truther. So I just want to thank everybody for everything.
Thank you for making this so interesting, and thank you for the story. The first picture by far is the one that gives you the most chills, and I think that's probably why that kind of sprung you into doing this. And now, it's changed your life, like it says on your website. So I appreciate you calling in, and I would love for you to call in again too. I don't understand why some folks have such a hard time calling in. I guess one thing too, Tuesday, Wednesdays, the slow nights, those are good nights to call in and get a hold of me. I just really, I really can't say enough about, folks like you calling in and sharing your stories, because I'm sure there was plenty that thought that this was absolutely fascinating, especially that photo, man. That is just gets it. And then the other one of the orbs, everything. There's a lot of people that relate to these kind of stories, so I would really love for you to call back again. And of course now, if you don't mind, if we do have your number, if we have any kind of questions around that kind of thing, if it's okay, we'll call you on that kind of stuff.
Absolutely, Marf. I mean,
I'd love to have you on for. I would love to have you on for, as a paranormal investigator, get your view on a couple things. If something pops up, we can get you on and as a kind of a expert testimonial or something.
That sounds fine. I would love to do that. And the thought just totally went out of my head. Oh, I do have, I go under Donna Kent in the chat. And because I'm a bad marketer, I really should be using the Cosmic Society. I started a YouTube channel. It's got all my old TV shows like Maury Povich.
Oh, cool.
I don't need. Yeah, I've been on with so many different. The last one I think I did was Gordon Ramsay, The Hotel Hell. but yeah, so I started a little YouTube channel. I'm absolutely not good at it. But if you could, let people see it, that would be great.
Are you kidding?
And I'd love to,
Yeah.
answer questions.
So,
Yeah.
now, is the channel Cosmic Society or is it something else?
It's Cosmic Society, all one word.
Ah, that's why. Okay, so Cosmic Society, all one word. Boom, there it is. Okay, and then I'm going to full screen this. Look at this. There's Maury, there's Sightings, Bravo channel. You've been on all of the whole circuit. That's so cool. Oh, I guarantee you're not going to have 40 subscribers after tonight. So if you liked that story, head over to Cosmic Society, all one word. Oh, this is cool. Okay, I don't want to get copyright here. Let's see here.
No.
Check this out. This is her with all of these different shows that she's been on with this story. So definitely want to check that out. Thank you for calling in. I appreciate you, and we're going to connect again. I'm sure of it.
Whenever you need me, Marv. And I do want to just say one more thing, and that's all of this 25 years of so-called ghost hunting has made me a born-again Christian. So it's just all a beautiful, wonderful thing. It's been real scary at times. I'll be the first one to admit that, but I've learned I've actually worked with Malachi Martin, who's now dead, but he's the author of Hostage to the Devil. He was a Jesuit priest at the Vatican and did many exorcisms, and I've actually been to a real exorcism, which was another story for another time. But yeah, definitely I'm here for anybody who needs help. I can never turn anybody down who legitimately needs help. So that's what I want to do, and I thank you so much. I thank you for what you do. Maybe another time we can talk about targeted individual stalking from just being, tuned into channels that tell the truth, and it's just crazy. But power of the Holy Spirit is what gets me through. So thank you, Marv, so much. I love you guys. Love all of you guys.
All right. Well, God bless Cosmic Society. Dawn and Ken, you have a wonderful night, and be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.
Thanks, Marv. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
It
guys.
looks like we've got Underground Source 808, Dex, J, and Marf. I sent an email, subject, active, bang, bang, Hawaii. So that must be the situation about the naval. Okay, so Dex, Underground Source 808. If you looked up for the subject, active, of course, Uter, Hawaii, in our business email, they may have information about that, the event that has happened at Pearl Harbor. Teresa Donahue, I really appreciate it. It shows me here that you headed over to Patreon and pledged. I thank you for that. As I always say, you don't have to do that, and I so appreciate it. Joseph Newhouse has subscribed. Who knows for what, however many time. I'm guaranteeing you either got unsubscribed or maybe you're just back. Let's see. We've got the Keen Tribe. Thank you for doing a $5 super chat. Sammy Lee says, wow, I sent a super chat telling you just call me Sammy Lee, and I said God bless you at the end. Apparently you didn't get it. Did my chat get hidden? No, but Sammy Lee, sometimes OBS doesn't, it skips over things. So that's not the platform's fault. It's actually the service that I use. So I apologize. It's happened several times before. In fact, it's happened to Teresa. It's happened to several people. I don't know why it only does it sometimes, but it happens probably once every couple nights. In fact, Ilea, love, it happened to you one time. A CME takes 1 to 5 days to reach Earth. We monitor the sun's activity 24/7. If a CME were heading our way, we would protect our grid by shutting off power. A solar flare, on the other hand, only takes 8 minutes to reach Earth. Did you guys hear that? So a CME, we would protect our grid. But a solar flare, 8 minutes. What would you do in 8 minutes? You could barely sneeze and wipe your nose. Good point. Ilea Love, great job on that. JT, Marf, it's been reported that 3 individuals in the Pearl Harbor blank bang bang were all 3 Department of Defense contractors as well as veterans. Okay, so we do have some information on that. Thanks to JT. Thank you for putting that out. Margaret Hubbard, thank you so much for subscribing. As always, if you subscribe during the show, you will get a shout out. All new subscribers, I appreciate you, and welcome to the show. If you're just now here, it's going to be a wild ride. Especially get to know the people in the chat. Mods, if you want to welcome, of course, Margaret Hubbard, and of course, Joseph Newhouse. Tower Bear says, hey Marf, Dex Mods, and Foogle Fam. Love the show. Been watching for a little bit over a year now. Keep doing what you do, brother. That's awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for all your support. I am literally humbled every single day being able to spend my time with you guys. There's just so much wrong going out there. And for me to do my show with you guys and hear you every day, it's pretty amazing. So, now, Dex, you are officially done and probably really tired.
Yeah. Hey, Adam, can you hear me?
I'm sorry?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, of course. I just
great.
like you. I like you to repeat stuff. That's all.
No problem. Hey, a couple quick things on the Hawaii incident. Yeah, there was, as I've read into it in the middle of the show, there were 2 confirmed, which we just heard about. I think there's multiple people injured. The person who did it they're reporting it as a sailor, and they're reporting that he also did himself in after doing that. So that's what we know as of now. And then the other thing I wanted to bring up was the caller who talked about the DNA kits. That was something I actually looked into because I've never done a DNA kit. But I've used one specifically, and I don't remember the name. I could go look it up. But it was for medical genetic evaluation, and this company specifically made it a part of their business to not provide and even store any of the information so that the government or anyone else could have access to it. You get a number, you get your information, and if you don't save your information from that kit, you can't get it 2 weeks later. It's gone. They destroy it. They don't have it. So there are some companies out there that really do look for that privacy angle, but I totally agree with that caller that the majority of these big companies, they're just trying to collect a lot of data.
Well, now Underground Source 808 says, witness said victims had to be engineers because of the color of their hats. And sorry, there was an echo there. Color of their hats. Yeah, no, I get that. Thank you, Underground Source 808. I appreciate that. And, I don't know if you are a different... Okay, sometimes people change their name, but we used to have some friends over in Hawaii as far as... gosh, I can't even remember the name. It's been so long since I've talked to him. Shoot. Our good Hawaii friend, he had a channel. It was pretty big, too. Now, I'll think of it later. I'll be on the toilet or something, and I'll go, ha, the Hawaiian truth or something. I don't know. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. All right, well, Dex, it is time to say goodbyes, say hello, and say I love you.
Say goodbye, Dex. Goodbye, Dex.
No, you don't have to. No. Well, actually, it's time. It's not a shout out. It's not an outro. It's a shoutro, where I officially make a fool out of myself to a beat. If you are in the chat and you type a little something something, if you want to get your something something or maybe even your name in the songs, I guess you'll just see. Sammy Lee says, I think I'll just start sending real mail super chats because that makes me sad. I'm sorry, Sammy Lee. Yeah, I don't blame you. That's annoying. Usually I get them late and then I read them the next day. That's what ends up happening. So either way, you end up on a show. It's just could be late. All right. Well, thank you guys. with all seriousness, please get your preps together, especially if you're on the West Coast. I appreciate each and every one of you. I think about you every single day. And again, today we're going to have some boom boom. So stick around. Some would say it's not even the end of the show. Hello, Doug Green. It wouldn't be a show without Kimmy, Stephen, Truth Be Told, and Roxy Alameda. Elise, Rebel Snarfle, Lynn 60, and Doris White. You know what I'm talking about. TSYSM. And Papa Smurf. Duke Raul and Anne Brown. Alice Crawley and Misty Round. Jimmy Farrell. Robin M. Joseph Newhouse and Mr. M. It's all about the headphones, really. If you're that Mr. Real Noodle. Got that J-Stone 70A and that Patty Chapman Lawrence. Got that Rebo Snarfle all the way. Cricket Lulu, the crazy Mexican. Johnny 222 with the Papa Smurf. Got the Elise and the Risley Barf. Hey Nikki and the Vaneki. Potassio and the four Siamese. I got that Pillsbury and that Claudette and that Calviny. The Whoop Whoop Koala from Jersey. Rock out Marf with that Veronica. Powers on that on the one God. Susie Q and the Deji Lula. The 420. Gotta eat and got that heat. You know what time it is? It's time for the boom boom. Oh yes, that's right. The boom boom is back. We found it. We got it. We did it. Boom boom boom! Yeah man, it's 104.5 Funky Mark with 2.3 thousand still watching. We multi-streaming, you know what I say. We all over the place, and now we got to 95.1. You got it, you rocked it, you did it all the way down, and now we soaked it. Yeah man, yeah man, yeah man. George Manley, Commandana, Fatty Nick, Butterpants, William Avisla and Elizabeth Coles, Elizabeth White and the rest of hold. I got the East Kate, Dada Pedro, and the Equine Prepper and the Johnny Bunny, Megan and the Mr. Doug and I got that crazy Neorona. Got the Meme, what do I say? Got the J Miller and the Glende and the Simmons, so say Ricky Savage and the Stiletto, Papa Smurf. You are my best friend. Nobody has it like Dustin Murphy. Yes, man. Yes. Got the Stephen, got the Diaz, got the Cabochao, and a Robert Arias, got a Monabala, Chevrolet Reese, one on Cat, and a Richard Hunt Wiz, got the Josh Connor, got the Steven, Truth be done with the Kedin and the non Kenny Crowder and a Shell Bargo who flung down Megan Morg and the All Rider. Bring it with the Calviny, now they tired. Wanna bring it back and the Access Christ through. Got a Richard Ortega, Roger Pratt and the Musket Ada. I'm out to bring it with the Stargazer. Got that Corey Stenson and the Star Stay Caesar. That's the boom boom now. You know what we say. You know what we say? We change it up because it feels so good now. You know we do this the victorious much better. Yes, KM, I know exactly what you're talking about. The Markiplier thing got fixed though. Now you can use as many emojis as you want. Be your Valentine's, now we rock minds. Hey Linda Hernandez, I got Kim Walter on now, rest of the Bears. Lisa Marie and Jean Blythe on hanging out with Heidi Gregorio and Gloria White. I got my IB Rule Sherry Reese. Got it with the Amy Hall Lee. Got that Pedro Cruz and the Allison White and Jay Burrows. Gotta see it all day. Trinity Red Blue or Bill Pooh. Hi-ho, Kermit the Frog, you never can say it all the way through it now, that's so strange. We're talking about ghost stories, and somebody said, when you say Teresa Donahue, that's my sister's name, and she passed away. Spooky. I just figured out why. Linda Way and Blondie 9-3 with the Robert Arias and all the rest don't I see. I'm about to do it down now, you and know. About to go back around and now you go. Sherry Boo Boo and the Crazy Coyote. I got a Trinity and the Kim Walter. I got it round, everybody knows you wanna. Oh, and everybody do the way. Gotta go back now, you know we say. Everybody really wanna slumber, really won't go with the high Marfoogle Family life. Lynnwood. Everything you say, gotta bring it back right away. Do it all the way. Remember, you can go to marfooglenews.com to access any of the articles that we went over today. Now they walked on down with your over on the sound, and you know, and you've got the way that we got to say. It's all about the Sherry and the CJ Blaze. Got the Sherry A-Day, got the Miss Lady, got the Jessie Lynn and Country Girl. You've got that Amanda Warnell. You've got that Mason style. You've got that Blondie 93245. Whoop whoop, there it is with the OHIO in Ohio. In Ohio, in Ohio. Now there are Jay Hellis and the Vinecki, Phil Billy, one God and the Necky. Gotta one another, all goes B. In the case on no, in the case on G. Reba Snuffle and they all see. Kenny Crowder and the rest of his friends. Going down now, they want your hands. About to be the Bobby Williford of the groove. Of the groove. Of the groove. It was all about the Dennis Mitchell walking down the street. What is this about? Mike doesn't understand it. Somebody, please explain it to him. Please explain it to him. He has no idea what is going on. Brian Woodring, what's up? Morona, Casual Preparedness, Susan Big, Calvin E. This is where it's a shoutro. If you stick around at the end of the show, we say all your names, and yeah, it's pretty much just me. Oregon Farm Girl, yo, sup? And they say sup. They leave emojis for me. Lisa Jones leaves some emojis. Hey. What do you not want to say when you're running from the text police? I'm OJ. I'm OJ. Get it? Emoji? I'm OJ. Like Simpson? I'm OJ. No, you so don't. Oh, you so don't. They don't get ya. They gonna ride. They gonna live. They gonna go down, no, you know. And they ride. I just want you to see that they gotta go. That let's see shot Harvey and a positive chair, no defeat down in middle with the share B80 and the gold deep, the cheers killing and the city hugging and the go down now, and you know that we got the crystal stats and see Lady Yolanda gonna bring it on down, and I'm about to go back and I got my drama and I don't need any of yours. Country girl night, everyone go, yo, I just got to see you go. Get propped on the Doris White and the crazy coyote and the color Joe's eye. I'm about to bring it back and you don't know what it's about. It's about having and being yourself. Hey, 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 Amy Holly, TLC time and now prep for days. Amber Connor, Roger Cunningham, gonna be on now. Well, he's gonna be him, the teacher Harvey. Gonna say we don't go sorry. I'm about to say God bless Adam. I'm a gonna Nadine on freak out and skis the queefer. Gotta go and ride on the beaker. We with Angel Codita. And I'm about to go Linda waist down right. Access through right Christ. Ain't no, don't know if the rhymes with the candy crowder with that hope now. Who let's say now heat some hope and not chowder. Good night, Vesta. I'm so invested to ya. Alice Crowley, Susan Big, Bobby Wheeler, Forster, yeah. I'm got that she's killing man. I'm Mystic Skywatcher. I'm about to bring that Lisa Jones right on, right home, and you know. Hi. You got that cricket Lulu all the way down.
extra K Jojo. I like me for me Letitia Harvey. Truth driven. Never seen your name before. Welcome. Nope, it's time for the hustling. Excuse me, sir. I think you're just a YouTube. I just wish the Foogle family could get along. I just wish the truthers could get along. They always be fighting on Twitter. And they've been doing it all the way. Homemade with love by Loretta and Blaine. Angelina Roxanne, I just really wanna go stay somewhere else, and I wish I could, but I just walk on down there. Ooh, I would say exactly what I wanted to say to all the Maymays. You know what, in the WCMW and Fab I would go see. Hey, 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 I just wanna dance no Martinez. Gotta roll all the way down and I'll beat you to 1,000. Gotta bring it back and they gonna shock it. I did shock it, bring it on, shock me. I don't think so. More Nebula. Skis to Queefa. Roll over like you do. You don't I'm not about that bondage. Fundage. Bring it Lulu, bring me you. Feel Billy go back down my way. Hey, I just love you, all I say. Oh, oh, yeah. Bridgerton 93, you are so many wanted day hola. Tornado Dorothy, day ride. Gonna get it, Debbie, don't element. 115, 115. Anita Torres, Quinn, and RJ, Elvis, and the Casper Sparks 81. And what would it be if we didn't have fun? Yeah. What would it be if we didn't have fun and we did it? Oh no, I wouldn't be here. Oh no. I kind of liked it, but you know, I just kind of stick around for the chat. I like my friends, and they're pretty nice. I mean, you know, they're just nice. It's nice to have friends that are like-minded. Like Angelina Roxy, thank you. You're just so like-minded. And Vaneki Potasio V-Rox Pit, like he's a good guy. He's a V-Rox Pit kind of guy. And then my favorite all-time person, the whole episode's dedicated to, would probably have to be Jaylyn. Jaylyn, absolutely one of my favorite people in the world. She's just a great, just a great person. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Anyways, yeah, pretty much have a good night, and much love to all of you, and be safe and be prepared and Marfoogle.
You want to know what's going on? What's really going on when it happens? Go to MarFoogleNews.com and get Marfoogle alerts along with a Discord invitation where you can find your local state group and get together with the Foogle Fam. You'll find fast friends where you'll share prep and intel, and there's even special groups for former and current military. But don't try and steal the valor of those who have really served. It won't go well for you. The Marfoogle Fam is waiting for you.
Aren't you supposed to go home? The T-Man said so. I just signed an executive order on it. Go home.